Hi, in this video, I will be discussing different duration types in Primavera P6. Before going to Primavera P6 interface, let's quickly go over some key terminology and equation used by Primavera for the calculation of remaining duration. Duration is the total time required to complete an activity. A unit is the total amount of work to be completed, often measured in hours or effort. Time means time period. The equation used in Primavera is remaining unit is equal to unit over time, which is also termed as rate of resource that is deployed multiplied by remaining duration. These are the four types of duration. First two are the task dependent and rest of the two are resource dependent. Let me bring some clarity. Task dependent means schedule is the limiting factor in our project, whereas resource dependent means resource availability or the cost is the most critical aspect of our project. If you want to keep the remaining units constant and recalculate the units over time, use fixed duration and units. While you use fixed duration and units, the application will use this equation, unit over time, that will be recalculated based on remaining units over remaining duration, which both are fixed. Then we will use fixed duration and units over time. In this case, the only recalculation will be done for remaining units. Units over time is fixed and remaining duration is also fixed. So remaining units would be if we have unit over time, which means that resource availability is 8 hours a day for 5 days, then total remaining units would be 80 hours. Fixed units indicates that the resources availability is the most critical aspect of our project. In this case, the remaining units, the only fixed portion is the resource availability, which is unit over time. Like if a resource is available 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, then we will use fixed units over time. The remaining units still will be based on units over time multiplied by the remaining duration, but if we change the remaining duration, remaining units will be changed. The only fixed portion is unit over time. Whereas fixed units, this will be used when we want to adjust unit over time and remaining duration. The only portion that is fixed is remaining units. Now let's move to Primavera interface. Here we have an activity named as mobilization at site. The duration type is fixed duration and units. That means the only variable will be unit over time. So when we assign a resource, for example resource name is site engineer, and the only portion that will change is remaining unit over time. Let's assume that we change the total budgeted unit to 70. I would say let's change it to 90. So in case of 90 hours, you can see that original duration remain still 7 days, but the remaining duration is changed to 13 hours a day, remaining units over time, sorry. So if I change it back to 30 budgeted units, then I would only need 4 hours a day for site engineer. So you can see that the original duration is fixed and budgeted units are also fixed. For example, if I change original duration to 10 days, still total budgeted unit remains 30 hours, but remaining duration has changed to 3 hours. If I change it back to 2 days, you can see that in case of fixed duration and units, the only thing that will change in the equation is remaining units over time. Now let's see how fixed duration and unit over time will impact our activity resources. If we select the second option, which is fixed duration and unit over time, then we go to resource. So now this portion is also fixed. That means budgeted units will change. If we change the duration from 2 days to 5 days, you will see that remaining units over time will still remain 15 hours a day, but budgeted units will be changed. Here it is. Similarly, if I change budgeted units to 40 hours, you will see the original duration will still remain 5 days. You can see that here. So it means that duration was fixed and remaining units over time was also fixed. The only thing that will change is budgeted units in this scenario. Now let's talk about our third option, which is fixed units. In this case, our resource total budgeted units will be fixed. On changing the remaining units over time, the duration will change, and if we change the duration, remaining units over time will be impacted. Let's change the duration to 7 days. You can see that total budgeted units still remain 40 hours, but remaining unit over time has gone to 6 hours a day. Now, if I change the remaining units over time to 8 hours a day, then the original duration went back to 5 days. Now, if we move towards our last duration type, which is fixed unit over time. In this scenario, unit over time will remain fixed, and on changing the total units, duration will change. Total budget, let's move to total budget units from 40 hours a day, 40 hours to 80 hours. The original duration will move from 5 days to 10 days. You can see that 80 hours by total budget units turned the original duration to 10 days. Similarly, if we move original duration to 8 days, the remaining budget units over time is fixed, then the total budget units will be 64. 8 days are 64 hours. You can see that here it is 64 hours total budget units. That's all for duration types in Primavera P6.